Jaguar Wright just sent a strong message to Alli Carter to keep her name out of her mouth, and she did not come to play. It's kind of wild that these two women would have beef, considering that they both seem to have the same end goal of exposing the shady side of the industry. Instead, both women have been fighting and throwing shade at each other. Alli claimed that Jaguar sold out to the industry and that Jaguar has been using her platform to help some of the shadiest characters in the industry. However, Jaguar was not about to let Alli talk smack about her like that, so she fired back in retaliation. She also made some bold claims about how Alli has been straight up telling lies and making things up. So who exactly is telling the truth in this situation, and what exactly sparked the beef in the first place? Let's break this down. At this point, I'm sure y'all have heard about Alli Carter and the jaw-dropping revelations she's been making ever since Diddy got locked up. She's been on a mission to tell her truth about the wild and downright inhumane things she endured when she was younger. Alli has stepped forward, fearlessly sharing her story about being caught up in a human ring.
I had a pimp who sold me to Russia one time. He promised me that it's weird, and with my pimp I started learning that if I was nice to him, if I didn't fight as hard, if I gave up with the fighting, and if I just did what he said, then I would become bottom, which means top.
And y'all, her stories are nothing short of chilling. Alli claims that she got caught up in all this Diddy mess and that she was taken advantage of before she was even legally grown. She describes being forced into one of Diddy's infamous FOs where she was allegedly trafficked. According to her, the event was called an all-black party. Not because most of the celebrities in attendance were black, but because the young victims being exploited at these wild gatherings were black.
It's not just celebrities, there's a lot of different people. They called it an all-black party, but it was mainly because a lot of the party favors were black kids. I was in the care of Riverside County Child Protective Services. Things of me that probably don't make sense, but I was a kid. And all of this situation, everything that we're talking about, everything that I've been talking about, I was.
Likewise, Jaguar Wright has never shied away from calling out the big names in Hollywood, much like Alli did. In fact, Jaguar started speaking out about the alleged shady behavior of these celebrities even before Alli made her move, and she hasn't stopped since. Even though she has always claimed that she wasn't exactly a victim of these supposed crimes, being in the entertainment world meant she was constantly exposed to the underbelly of all the corruption going on behind the scenes.
Sure, somebody's already asked you this, but have you ever been to a P. Diddy party?
Yeah, several, many, honestly.
And so, can you take us through like
force, even not knowing?
They did their job. He's a sex worker. He's got and he's got semen-coated fucking VHS tapes.
And Jaguar has been spilling the tea ever since. She openly recounts her experiences at Diddy's notorious parties, where she says some seriously bizarre things go down. She breaks down the wild mix of substances people are using, everything from ketamine and to hallucinogens and even Viagra. Can you believe it? These are some top shelf, highly illegal being thrown around at these insane parties, and it's just mind-blowing. Both Alli Carter and Jaguar seem to hate the big bad side of the industry, but somehow they're not on the same side. In fact, they're openly beefing hard. So what exactly is going on between both women? Well, it all started when Jaguar Wright made some comments about Alli that didn't quite sit well with Alli.
Put upon my spirit to issue out that invitation to a conversation with Alli Carter, and ever since then, it's been a...
See, Alli stepped forward with her bold claims and recounted her painful experiences. Jaguar wasted no time and jumped on an interview, fully embracing her signature, no-holds-barred style. During the interview, she openly called out those who had caused harm, and she didn't stop there. She even dropped a massive bombshell about Alli herself. According to Jaguar, not only was Alli facing some serious threats, but the higher-ups in Hollywood were actively trying to silence her. They were apparently desperate to keep their dark secrets under wraps and didn't want any more of their misdeeds coming to light. Jaguar claimed that she was genuinely terrified for Alli's well-being, warning that these execs would stop at nothing to silence her. Of course, this whole dramatic twist didn't sit well with Alli, sparking tension and raising even more questions about what's really going on behind the scenes.
Is Alli Carter being silenced?
I'm sure she is. I hope it's not my fault. made an outcry to her.
But wait, the story gets even crazier. In another interview, Jaguar was grilled again about Alli's safety. When asked why Alli wasn't being placed in witness protection if she was supposedly in such grave danger, Jaguar claimed that Alli was actually at her safest right where she was. According to Jaguar, whisking Alli away into witness protection would be a disastrous move because once she disappeared into that system, that'd be the last time we'd ever see her again. She went on to argue that it wouldn't take much, a single crooked government employee and the right amount of cash to snitch on Alli and have her taken out in a heartbeat. But Alli wasn't having any of Jaguar's comments. She stormed onto social media, ready to set the record straight about what she really thought of Jaguar, and y'all, she didn't hold back. Things got downright messy. Alli started off by mentioning that she's been getting a lot of threats from some powerful people, and it didn't take long for the passive aggressiveness to kick in. She kept throwing subtle digs, repeatedly dropping a cheeky "here kitty kitty kitty," clearly hinting at Jaguar. These were some direct, no-nonsense shots, and honestly, it's pretty obvious what she was getting at.
We're getting a lot of threats. A lot. A lot. Mainly from big kitties. Yeah, kitty, kitty, kitty.
But Alli wasn't done. She went straight for Jaguar, hinting that she was nothing more than a liar. Alli went on to accuse Jaguar of basically extorting people for the dirt, portraying her as the kind of person who teases you with a tiny bit of scandalous info, only to then demand cash for the full story.
There's so many wolves in truth teller clothing. Here, kitty, kitty. Here, kitty, 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 kitty.
She then slammed Jaguar, calling her a vulture who's trying to profit off the misery tied to this insane scandal. Then she wrapped things up by passionately calling out for the young ones caught in all this mess, insisting that nobody ever really cares about them. According to her, whenever the kids are mentioned, it's only because they're trending, not because anyone's actually taking action unless there's money to be made.
Do they never waver from the children? A lot. How many times do they tell you about the children? How many times do they tell you to get up for the children? How many times do they call you to action for the children? How many times do they not?
You already know Jaguar wasn't about to let this slide. She quickly hopped on YouTube, clapping back at Alli, telling her to stop clout chasing and lying on her name.
Don't clout chase me. Even if it is for your protection. I am not Lamisha Fuller.
Jaguar took things a step further with another interview to clear the air. She denied Alli's claims that she was making things up, insisting she had receipts to back everything up and wasn't just chasing clout like some people assumed. She also warned that things were about to get very real and that soon no one would be able to ignore the truth.
They say I don't have receipts, yet everywhere I point and tell people to go look, they found something that was hidden, thrown down in the algorithm, sitting right there online, right in front of their very faces. I don't really have.
Child, the girlies are fighting hard. As this heated feud between Alli and Jaguar unfolds, fans are left scratching their heads, wondering what's really happening behind the scenes. At this point, it feels less of a fight for truth and more like a competition over who can spill the most tea. Both seem to be losing sight of why they started speaking out in the first place, letting their egos take center stage. And honestly, it's all getting a little too messy. But y'all know that Jaguar lives for the messy drama, and it didn't take long before she hinted that Alli was making up fake victims to make herself look good. And she told Alli to keep her name out of her mouth.
Will suggest to Alli Carter and her mother is that they stay the f for my name. Because doing negative Jag content is only going to make people hunt you down even more.
This is a hot mess, but who do y'all believe to be telling the truth and who do you think is lying? Drop your thoughts in the comments, then check out this next video.